Have you ever come across people who just seem to change the energy of a room without saying a word? It's not about them being loud or demanding attention, but about how they subtly pull back. Suddenly, the vibe shifts. People start wondering what's going on, why they can't get their usual reaction, and even begin to chase after them, feeling something they can't quite explain. It's almost like they've got some invisible magnetic force. Now, imagine if you did that. What if you learned to pause before reacting, chose silence over an automatic response, and stepped back when the world tried to pull you in? Here's the thing. When you stop being constantly available, emotionally, mentally, and physically, it can throw the world around you into chaos. Why? Because people often control you through your predictable responses. When you decide to pull back, stop engaging on autopilot, they're left uncertain, and that uncertainty causes them to question everything. And you know what? They're starting to realize they don't actually know you as well as they thought they did. It's a fascinating, almost unsettling shift. Carl Jung once said, "Everything that annoys us about others can help us understand ourselves better." And that's where it all starts. When you change, people will start showing their true colors. Those who used to feed off your constant reactions will be rattled. Some might even try to provoke you, testing whether they can still control you through your responses. It's a wake-up call for you and them, because the truth is, the more you react, the more you're giving your energy away without even realizing it. Think about it. Have you ever caught yourself saying yes when you actually meant no? Replying to messages you didn't want to respond to, or jumping into arguments that drained you emotionally? In doing so, you've been giving away pieces of your energy, and in return, what are you left with? Exhaustion, frustration, maybe even a sense of emptiness you can't quite put into words. That's because you've made yourself too available for people who don't deserve your peace. This isn't about becoming cold or indifferent to the world around you. It's about realizing that sometimes silence is the most powerful statement you can make. Carl Jung talked about a concept called individuation, which is the process of becoming your truest, most whole self. This journey begins when you understand that you are the source of your own energy. And part of that means learning to control when and how you react to the world. So, I'll ask you directly, how long are you going to let other people's emotions control you? How long will you continue to be the one who always reacts, who always bends to their will, who gives away pieces of yourself in an effort to keep everyone happy? Maybe it's time to stop. Maybe it's time to take a step back and become a mystery. The truth is, being constantly available is a trap. It may seem like a way to be loved, accepted, or appreciated, but in reality, it makes you predictable. And when you're predictable, you're no longer a person. You're a tool. People will begin to treat you as an emotional emergency button. They'll only reach out when they need something from you, whether that's attention, validation, or comfort. Once they get it, they'll disappear until they need you again. In this dynamic, you start to lose yourself. You keep saying yes, keep responding quickly, keep bending over backward for others, until one day you realize you've got nothing left. When you're always there for everyone else, you end up neglecting your own needs. And this is exactly what Carl Jung warned about when he described the persona, the mask we wear to be accepted and loved by the outside world. How often have you found yourself exhausted, trying to please people who only seem to care when you're giving them something? How often have you felt like your value came from your availability, your willingness to put others first? But let me tell you something you might not want to hear. That always being available isn't just exhausting, it's dangerous. When you keep pouring from an empty cup, you're setting yourself up for burnout, for feeling overlooked, for being taken for granted. You see, the moment you stop reacting, the game changes. People will start to notice your absence, and it will mess with their minds. You won't be the person they can control through emotional manipulation anymore. The ones who truly care will adapt. But the ones who were just using you will move on because you no longer fit the role they cast you in. The truth is, being unavailable isn't about ignoring the world. It's about taking charge of your own life, of your own energy. When you stop reacting to every little thing, you regain control. You get to decide where your energy goes, and that's an incredibly powerful thing. But here's the kicker. Most people will try to make you feel guilty for not being available. They'll call you cold, distant, or even selfish. But this is just a projection of their own neediness. They don't want to face the fact that they were only using you to fulfill their own emotional needs. Carl Jung often spoke about projection, the idea that people project their internal struggles and emotions onto others. When you stop reacting, you stop being the mirror for their projections. This can be incredibly uncomfortable for them. They no longer get to play their games with you, and that feels like a threat to their sense of control. But what they fail to see is that the only reason they could play those games in the first place was because you kept feeding into them. Let's take a minute to think about how you've been manipulated without realizing it. Have you ever felt like you were always the one bailing someone out, only for them to disappear when they didn't need you anymore? Maybe a friend who only reached out when they were in trouble, or a partner who only cared when you were comforting them. This isn't about a lack of love or care from you. It's about how much you've given without considering whether it was deserved. And what happens when you decide to stop giving so freely? What happens when you refuse to be a constant emotional support for people who wouldn't even offer you the same in return? That's when the facade starts to crack. The person who relied on your presence and availability will suddenly be confronted with their own empty space, and that's uncomfortable. But here's the thing. That discomfort isn't something you should shy away from. The silence you create when you pull back is where your true power lies. It's not about shutting people out for the sake of being distant or cold. It's about having control over your own emotional energy. When you stop reacting automatically, you start to observe. You begin to see things you may have missed before: emotional patterns, manipulative behaviors, and cycles of self-sabotage. And the more you observe, the more you'll understand why silence is such a powerful tool. Create space for clarity. When you stop reacting to every little thing, you stop being emotionally manipulated. You stop wasting your energy on battles that don't matter. You stop feeling the need to justify your decisions, explain your feelings, or defend yourself. Carl Jung also emphasized the importance of individuation, the process of becoming your true, authentic self. Part of this journey involves learning how to protect your psychic energy. This means understanding your triggers, being mindful of where your energy goes, and knowing when to say no without feeling guilty. The truth is, when you stop reacting, you stop giving your energy away. And when you stop giving your energy away, you become more selective about who gets to share in it. This is the essence of self-love. It's not about being selfish. It's about protecting your inner peace. It's about giving to those who truly deserve it and letting go of the people who take without offering anything in return. Here's where the change happens. When you stop being available to everyone, you start becoming available to yourself. You begin to recharge, reconnect with who you really are, and stop letting others define you. It's an uncomfortable transition, no doubt, but over time you'll start to feel stronger. The silence will no longer be a source of discomfort. It will become a place of inner peace and clarity. The more you embrace this process of becoming unavailable, the more you'll notice who really values you and who was only there for what you could give them. It's a painful but enlightening process. Some people will fall away, but the ones who truly matter will stay. And in the end, you'll have something far more valuable than temporary validation. You'll have your peace, your energy, and your true self. The art of unavailability isn't about being cold, distant, or indifferent. It's about making a conscious choice to reclaim your energy, your time, and your life. It's about saying no when necessary, taking a step back when things get overwhelming, and choosing your peace over the constant noise of the world. This journey isn't easy, but it's one that leads to true freedom. And as Carl Jung once said, in the end, we are all our own best teachers. It's time to teach yourself how to protect your peace, how to reclaim your energy, and how to become the whole, authentic person you were always meant to be. Are you ready to stop being available to everyone? Are you ready to step into your power? Let's start this journey together. Thank you for accompanying. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and leave a comment below so we can discuss. Wish you and your family good health.